These are the top 5 healthy foods that you should never eat. Hey Wellness Warrior, I'm Dr. Zyrowski, and it is so often you go to the store and you read the label to see things like all natural, heart healthy, and sugar free. When you see those labels, you think to yourself, hey, I want to have a healthy heart. I want to eat sugar free and all natural. That food is the right food for me. That fancy marketing, it convinces you to buy the food, but when you get home and you have more time to evaluate the label, the ingredients within the food, well, you find out it's not a health food at all. This has happened so many times to my wife and I. We're in a hurry, we're shopping, we have the kids, and we get home and find out we bought foods we shouldn't have bought. So in this video, I'm going to help you identify these fake health foods, and I'm going to first explain what they are, give you the chance to guess and see if you can identify these foods before I reveal them. Now this food right here is considered heart healthy. It also is considered a core food in the United States according to the food pyramid. Now this particular food is typically genetically modified. It also, in the growing process, is covered with pesticides, and then by the time you actually get it as a food, it's turned into a food, it is highly processed, lots of sugar, lots of stabilizers, lots of bad ingredients. Well, what is this food? Well, this is going to be your heart healthy grains, of course. This is a food that most people start their day out with. Many people eat it for breakfast, but the problem is it's not healthy at all. So we want to avoid this, and we don't want to be tricked into thinking that this is a health food. Our next food on our list here is thought to be able to unclog your arteries, and if you eat this food, it's really going to help fix your cholesterol. You got high cholesterol, eat this. Now also, it's believed that if we want to lose fat, we should eat this, because if you eat the opposite of this, not only is it going to raise your cholesterol, it's also going to cause you to gain fat, supposedly. Now, this particular food is loaded with a lot of sugar and a lot of artificial flavorings. And the reason for this is because this food is very good. It tastes good. And when you actually remove this ingredient here from food, well, you pull the flavor out. It's not good anymore. Well, what is this? This is going to be your low-fat food. When you go to the grocery store and you see low-fat milk, low-fat yogurt, low-fat cheese, this is a fake health food. This isn't healthy at all. And in fact, you're starving your body of the necessary fats that it needs to be healthy. You know, there's this idea that if you eat fat, it's going to cause you to be fat, or if you eat fat, it's going to raise your cholesterol. That's all a myth. In fact, we need these fats because our brain is made of fat. Our neurological tissue in our body is made from fat. If we're not feeding it, we are starving it. So don't get duped into thinking that low-fat foods are healthy for you, because they are not. Now let's take a look at this one right here. This is a drink, it's a beverage, and it's considered to be very nutrient dense. It's considered to be a good way that you could start your day off, right? Start your day off with lots of vitamin C and lots of nutrients. There's a problem. It's high glycemic, it's loaded with sugar, and in fact, it's no way to start your day. Well, what is this drink? This is going to be your fruit juice. Many people drink this. Many people give this to their children. It's high sugar. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of these different fruit juices out there, quote unquote fruit juices, that are simply food coloring, high fructose corn syrup, and artificial flavoring. It's not juice at all. So we have to be really aware of that simple fact, but also know that combining all the different sugar from 10 pieces of fruit and the juice from 10 pieces of fruit is not the same way that you would go and eat that or find that in nature. If you want something sweet in the morning, just have an orange, have an apple, but don't go take all the juice and sugar without the fiber from all of those oranges and apples, condense it into a cup and drink it. It's not a good way to go. Now let's talk about this one. This ingredient here is cheap, okay? It's cheap, but it's also thought to decrease your risk of cardiovascular disease. But there's a problem. It's highly processed, sometimes even using harsh chemicals to process it. It's loaded with omega-6s. You're probably getting it at this point. Highly inflammatory, and most of the time it's coming from genetically modified sources. What is this? Okay, this food is going to be in all your restaurant food. It's in most of your prepackaged foods at the grocery store because it's cheap, right? This is going to be your seed oils, corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil. All these oils are highly used, and they're also highly processed, and it's not something we want to be eating. What are some alternatives? Butter is a great alternative, using things like coconut oil, avocado oil. There's a lot of good options out there. We don't need to turn to these that are highly inflammatory and also have too much omega-6 in them. Let's look at our next food here. Now, this food is loaded with starchy flours. It typically will have a lot of these bad oils we just talked about. It'll be loaded with sugar to make it taste good. And it also is going to be something that is considered really good for people who have celiac disease. Well, what is this? Another fake health food? Well, that's gluten-free food. You know, there's this idea that if you want to be healthy, you should eat gluten-free. And there's a lot of truth to that. Gluten is causing a lot of problems for a lot of people. And many people are either severely or even mildly gluten intolerant. And so what we want to do is try to go grain-free. Go gluten-free as much as you can. But the reality is buying these gluten-free foods that are loaded with a lot of really bad ingredients is no way to go. If you want to truly go gluten-free, follow something like an animal-based diet. Follow a good, healthy diet that doesn't include grains. But don't try to skip out on gluten and then give yourself another health problem like diabetes because you're getting so much sugar. It's a very high glycemic food, almost in all cases. So let me know in the comments below if you're eating these fake health foods and what experience you've had with them. I'm Dr. Nick Zyrowski, and I think you'll really like this video next.